Just recently, a very good friend of mine passed away in a drunk driving accident. It was later found out that he had been drinking and he was racing down Mandarin Road and he hit a tree going about 80 miles an hour. As hard as it is to say, he was ejected from the car after it was split in half while he was still wearing his seatbelt in his seat. He was pronounced dead on the scene, and it's very hard on me and all of my friends to go through this. So I'm going to tell you ways to prevent drunk driving, the safety laws about it, and who all's affected. I'm going to start with telling you how it's going to be on yourself if you are the drunk driver. You are going to be risking not only your life, but everyone around you who's on the road. Say you wreck into a car and the other person dies. You become the murderer in that case and you have to go to jail while that person's family sits there and blames you while you're sitting in there. They're going to be very upset with you and themselves for losing their loved one. Say it was the other way around and you get in a car crash and you're the one who dies. Your family is going to be very upset with the fact that nobody stopped you, you are no longer with them anymore, and how much they miss you. It's hard on everybody. You affect everyone when this happens. Just imagine how bad everybody would feel if something happened to you or if you were the cause of somebody else getting murdered. Now let's talk about the laws. Say you get pulled over after a night of drinking. You get a DUI, and that comes along with the suspension of your license, community service, and having to pay a lot of fines back to the state. I know a friend personally from work who got a DUI a year ago and still doesn't have enough money because he was in so much debt from paying all of his fines before to get his license back. You lose your license for 12 months. Do you really want to rely on other people to drive you around for those 12 months? Say you have to go to work and nobody can drive you. The fact that you could lose your job is a really big problem. You have to do a lot of community service. This could include going to other schools and telling people about the fact that you made a poor decision and trying to teach them to not do the same thing. You have to go to AA classes, which even though you don't think you might not need it, it is still considered an alcoholic problem if you drink and drive. And not just that, but you have to pay for those classes whether you want to go to them or not. They still make you do it, and they still make you pay the $65 fee. There are many ways to prevent drunk driving. You could call a friend or family member. No matter what time it is, I'm sure they'd much rather wake up and come get you than have you drunk drive home. You could call a taxi if you have the money for it. If you don't, try and borrow some from a friend or even ask a friend who hasn't been drinking to drive you home. No matter what, they will usually understand. If all else fails, stay where you're at. You can go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and then drive home. To conclude, there are many ways to prevent this from happening. You need to either call somebody to help you, call a taxi, just don't do it and stay the night, because you don't want to hurt your family like it was hurt for us when my friend passed away a couple of days ago. It's very hard on everyone, and I know from firsthand how emotional it can be and how disturbing it can be to the family and all the friends, whether you're close or not. Make sure that if you drink, to just not drive home, don't get in the car, do anything possible to not do it. Thank you.